happiness, we should try to make dua as well. Ya Allah, you have blessed me with this achievement or with this happiness. Ya Allah, bless me with a real success as well. So I may die with the Iman, because that's the real Eid. Alhamdulillah, today we're here at the Dawatislami Manchester Center on Dickinson Road, and this is our weekly Friday English speech. Today's topic is mainly aimed at parents, but mashallah, I can see some youngsters here, so we will try to keep a balance. In fact, today's child is tomorrow's parent. So inshallah, one day these kids will grow up. Yeah, these tips that I want to share with you today, hopefully they will empower you, they will benefit you, they'll give you some skills how to deal with real problems that you face in life. First of all, I pray that may Allah Almighty shower His immense mercy on our parents. May Allah Pak forgive them. And those parents who have passed away, may Allah Ta'ala shower His rahmah upon their graves and make the accountability on the day of judgment easy for them and give them high place in Jannah. Those parents who are alive, I pray that may Allah Almighty give them long and healthy life with full of iman and happiness, inshallah. Today, we live in a time where there's a lot of struggle in the household, especially between the parents and the children. Parents struggle to give the right upbringing to the children. Even if they want to, there's so many challenges they face. One of them is the child's behavior, his attitude. For example, your son is busy on the PlayStation and you want him to change his clothes for school. And he's not listening to you. Or he's watching cartoons and you want him to change the clothes. He's not listening to you. So sometimes as parents, you raise your voice. When you raise your voice, the child, unfortunately, he raises the voice as well. He screams back. He shows annoyance, anger. So he screams back. And what happens in many cases like this, you get into a no-win situation. Because as parents, you can raise your voice and make your kids do things, but that doesn't solve the problem on a long term. Because next time you're in that similar situation, same thing's gonna happen. You'll end up raising your voice, and the child's gonna behave in a similar attitude. You think, what's going on? You know, it's every single day. In fact, 5, 10 times in the day that we have to have argument. A father and son argument, or mother and daughter argument. It's every single day thing. What's going on? And this approach that we do have, raising our voice and screaming and yelling at each other, this is not healthy for a family, especially in your own relations. Like I said before, in most cases, we get into a non-win situation. So today, inshallah, I want to share with you some important tips that you can keep in mind, and they will help you, they will empower you to deal with these type of situations, inshallah. First of all, please keep in mind that if you want to nurture your child's bad behavior, it's going to take time. Now be prepared. It's not that you will say something for 10, 15 minutes and give him a good teaching, then he will change, whatever. It's not going to happen. It will take a lot of time. Sometimes it can take weeks, sometimes it can take months, sometimes it can take a year, because the bad behaviors, they consist of multiple things. There are different type of bad behaviors that he has, different problems that he's facing as a child. And one thing's for sure, that a child who has some bad attitude or behavior problem at young age, he's developed some bad habits, at the early age, these bad habits, as a child grows up, as it becomes a teenager, these habits stay with him. When he becomes an adult, in fact, when he becomes to an old age, the certain aspect of his bad behavior, they remain with him because he picked them up in the childhood. So first lesson is that somehow we need to get rid of this bad behavior. We can't afford it. It's going to affect our personality. Therefore, when you want to choose to rectify something, first step or first tip is pick your battle. You can't shout and you can't scream at every single wrong thing that your child does. That's the worst thing that we parents do. You pick your battle. You choose which bad habit of your child you're going to deal with first. The others, nice and slowly, work with them as well, but focus on one, or focus on few. And every time your child makes a mistake, you stop him, you scream at him, you tell him, you think you're doing a wonderful job. I'm a father, I'm trying to tell, my child to not do bad things, full stop. But what you're doing indirectly, if you shout at your child every single time, then that child will not grow with a creative mind. He won't have confidence in his life. He wants to grow, he wants to do something, he wants to be creative. But what you're doing, you say, no, son, stay there, stay in that corner, stay in that bubble, never come out. Although you don't want to say that, but that's what you're doing if you're telling him off every single time. Keep a lookout for these behaviors, they should get registered in your mind. But when it comes to application, when it comes to sorting them out, you only deal with them at a time. So the first thing is you choose your battle, which behavior that you want to deal with. Now, second tip, once you identify the problems that you want to deal with, now you sit down with that child and involve him in the problem solving. Make him aware that I have these concerns about you, about your behavior. And I'm really worried. Make him feel, a lot of times when children mess about, yeah, the parents scream and shout, and the kids, they do it on purpose, they wind you up. Yeah, I've done it again. Yeah, my dad's on the swing again. Yeah, they're having fun. They're having laugh. So they don't see, what trouble they're causing to the parents' heart and mind. So you need to make them aware, son, but I'm really concerned about your behavior, especially these two things. Like, you have a habit of shouting at big people in the family. I've seen it so many times. You shout at this person, and each time you shout at someone bigger than you, it hurts me. And it's not good for your own life. When you grow big, it's not good for your behavior. It's gonna damage your personality. The second thing is when your parents tell you to do something, when we tell you to do something, we have to tell you about 20 times, even then you don't do it. Choose your battle, then make your child aware the things that you want them, so they become aware of the problems, of your concerns. Most importantly, now you need to involve them in problem solving. So you say to him, son, look, we need to find solutions. So I've got a few options in my mind. Give your child, this is the third tip, give your child some options. Offer him some choices. Option number 1, option number 2, option number 3, option number 4. Give him different options. Look, next time you do this, then there will be negative consequences. Or if you behave good for a certain period, then you'll get some rewards. So give him different options. And especially when dealing with bad behavior, I would suggest you to give your child a negative consequences. Provide him with options of negative consequences. For example, take away a privilege from him or her. There's certain things that kids love. It could be watching cartoons, playing on the PlayStation, or going out in the park, in the field. Whenever you go shopping, they always go with you. There's certain things they really love and enjoy doing regularly. So what you could do, you say to them, now look, if you're going to carry on with bad behavior, then there's going to be a negative consequence, and that could result in maybe uh, you can't play on a PlayStation for at least one day. You can't watch cartoon for I don't know how long. You can decide that between each other. Or for 1 week you won't be able to go to shopping. Whatever's easy, you look at the age of the child as well. And what you do, you don't make that decision. You give these options to your child, let him choose. Now what you've done, you made him the decision maker. Although you probably had these things in your mind, but you made him the decision maker about his behavior. So he might say, okay, if I mess about next time, then I won't play on the PlayStation. So you say, okay, so how long are you not going to play? Okay, I won't play for one day. So he might agree with you. Yeah. Now, because he was part of the decision, there's two things. Number one, if he does make that same mistake again, there's a very good chance that he won't ask you, he won't like annoy you that I want to play on PlayStation, let me play, let me play. He won't say that because he knows he's done something wrong and he doesn't deserve it. On the other side, because he knows that if I mess about and this privilege will be taken away from me, there's a good chance he will pause before he does something wrong. And hopefully within time, he will master the trick and he will help him to get out of the bad behavior. But these things will take time. So get them involved. Now, other than this, as parents, we need to provide a structure in their daily life. Give them the mindset of having a disciplined life. So you need to sit down with them and make some kind of a timetable. They normally have a timetable in school, but have a timetable at home as well. Weekly timetable. Have different activities that will keep your child happy and enjoying. At the same time, you're staying away from the bad things. This is so important because if you don't have a timetable, what happens? If you give the remote to your child, he might watch the cartoon for hours and hours without doing anything else. And then when you take the control off him, then naturally, because he's so addicted, he's so glued onto the screen, that as soon as you come in the way of his screen, he's gonna let the anger out at you. And that's what happens to a lot of the families. So we need to give them a structure in their life, make a timetable, and explain to them the reasons for the rules that you're going to have for him. Make them clear and easy rules, set them out, and then give them reasons. Look, we're going to start doing this because of this reason. And what you do, these consequences that we will have for them, they should have a logical reason behind it. Don't just come out of the box and just come up with some form of a negative consequence which is too difficult. You'll be too harsh on the child. Be mild, but at the same time, make him aware. Do look at the age that you're working on, and most importantly, where you're trying to deal with the bad behavior and with the negative consequences. Likewise, or maybe more importantly, you must reward the child for the good behavior. This is so crucial. For example, if your child completes the Madani Qaida, in fact, while he's studying the Madani Qaida, you give him the incentive. Son or daughter, when you complete this Madani Qaida, inshallah, I'm going to give you this prize. Or I'm going to take you out. Or there's going to be special reward for you. That's going to give them incentive to read the Qaida with love. Beti, if you complete one para, then inshallah, I'm going to buy this for you. Whatever intentions you make or whatever promises you make, please make sure you stick to it as well. Give them the rewards. So keep them busy in the good things. When you complete second para, third para, fifth para, so give them something nice, exciting. Take them out for the meal. So reward them for the good behaviors. And like this, well, let's mix it now. So what happens with us? Sometimes when children mess about at home and it gets out of hand, what do? We say, "Come on, son, get up, go do wuzu, go to the front room, and you got to read the Quran for 1 hour now. Quickly go do wuzu, come downstairs. You have to read 10 nafal now." So what are we doing here as a to deal with bad behavior? We giving them this mindset that if you behave really bad, then you have to read the Quran and you have to read namaz. So indirectly, we're making them feel that this is something that's really bad. Because if you do something naughty, that's when you do it. So indirectly, by using these approaches, instead of giving them love for the Quran and namaz, you're taking that love away from them. So don't use that. Some people have said that don't use this as a negative consequences. In fact, this should be a separate thing. When they do good things and they read not, when they do tilawat, give them awards, give them rewards. Make them feel that you really like it, you appreciate the efforts. When they do any Islamic drawing and they've done a role play at home, when they're sharing a sunnah with you, they're acting upon the sunnah of Rasulullah, give them the confidence that they need. And most importantly, model your own self-discipline. Children pick up your own habits. They don't need to write these things down. Just by observing you, what you do, how you deal with the matters, automatically kids will see it and they will apply it. So please keep these things in mind. I'll try to cover different aspects of things, but most of them were for the adults. I didn't get a chance to talk to the kids. But chilling, whilst the kids are here as well, quick message for them. Look, kids, when you're at home, your parents do so much for you. You don't see that. Behind the scene, parents do so much for you. Your father, he goes out, works, he has a full-time job, and then your mother does the cooking for you, washing your clothes. They love you so much. And I think it's time for us, the children, we give them some comfort. We should be saying thank you to them. So today, inshallah, when you do go home, and if there's any kids watching, why don't you go to your parents today and say to them, thank you, mom, thank you, dad, for everything. Give them a hug, inshallah. Sallu al Habib, sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.